Give us 60 minutes and we'll give you Nelson Radio every Saturday from 2 to 3 p.m. on KTLK AM 1150. With 29 years in the mortgage business and an array of top-level guests visiting the show, Nelson is in a unique position to bring you cutting-edge information on real estate, business, finance, and law. If you have any questions for Nelson or any of his guests, give him a call at 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. Or check him out online at nelsonradio.com.
Nelson Radio.
Any comments or questions, give us a shout direct. Guess what? I'll answer the phone, 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136, or connect with us on the web at nelsonradio.com. Phil, we've got an unbelievable guest here, and this is a fellow that has a resume that's practically the who's who of the real estate sector in California. Joe Hanauer, he's an astute investor in real estate businesses, has been the chairman of Grubb & Ellis, the chairman of Coldwell Banker, and is currently the chairman of Move Inc., the operator of Realtor.com, a huge internet platform that's really changing the face of how realtors and consumers are pursuing purchasing and selling in our marketplace. Joe, are you with us?
I sure am.
Yeah, thanks for being with us. You know, I was looking at that resume, and it all started in Chicago. My roots go back to Chicago as well, through my grandparents as Polish immigrants. What brought you from Chicago out to California?
Well, Rob, a company that we developed in Chicago in the residential, mainly residential, though it was also in the commercial brokerage business, ended up selling that to a Coldwell Banker, and then I joined Coldwell to run their residential businesses. So Coldwell was based in California, and so it was a choice, either move the group to Chicago or move to California, and I'm a slow learner, so I decided California sounds good.
Yeah, it sounded good. I spoke with somebody that relocated from the East like you. He said he drove into California years ago, a Rolls Canardly. And I said, wow, what is a Rolls Canardly? He says, my car is so old it rolled down one side of the hill, can hardly get up the other. There you have it. So give us a peek behind the curtain. You had, I think at the high point, up to 40,000 agents that were under your leadership in California. What was that like?
Well, and I think the guys that are running it today have expanded it to a much larger size, in fact. But it was a terrific experience. You know, we didn't start that way, obviously. When I first became responsible for the residential companies, we had about, I think, around 2,000 people. So it was one of those things that grew over time, and it was just a great opportunity and a privilege, really, to sort of try and set the pace for a number of people that provided terrific service and did a great job.
A huge community. You know, every veteran that I talk to from the real estate sector talks about the days of old and how purchase contracts used to be a page long, and the volume of disclosures that we have today didn't exist. With that, have the attorneys, have they just been too busy, or are these books of disclosures that are now required, are they serving our consumer well?
Well, they serve the attorneys well.
Yeah, that we know.
It's like a retirement program for the attorneys.
Wouldn't it be nice to bill out for everything we do, right?
Absolutely. So, we were supposed to see reform, in the past couple of years, and we've only seen more red tape. So I don't think it's going to change. Unfortunately, it's just the way that the business is going to be, and it's the reason that having professionals, certainly, in terms of having realtors, work with customers is critical. They don't give legal advice, but they certainly help move people through the process of making offers and end up owning homes. So.
Well, and obviously the real estate segment didn't get into the kind of trouble that my industry did on the mortgage side, and now we have governing bodies that are coming in my opinion, overcorrecting, especially from the government's influence. I mean, they have as their calling cards the efficiencies of the post office and the expediency of DMV, now telling us how we have to operate. And I think in the lending side, our industry is overcorrected. That's not the case on the real estate side?
It's not as severe, but it's still, very, very, very regulated. I mean, there's things that I talked earlier about legal, for example. There's things that a salesperson can do. They can fill in some blanks on certain things, but anything that deals with legal issues, move over to an attorney. In terms of interpreting loan documents, that they look to somebody else for, and many things are for the better. For example, in the brokerage end of the business, continuing education is now mandatory. Examinations on a continuing basis are mandatory. There was a time when you just took an exam once and you were done for life, and today it's continuing, which really just elevates the industry.
I think that's a benefit as well. This segment is brought to you by Best Chauffeured, worry-free, and on-time limousine transportation services. If you need a limo, text the word limo to 313131. And any comments or questions from today's show, you can reach us direct at 888-888-2136, 888-888-2136. Let me throw another couple questions at you. Obviously, the employed in our industry, it accordions up and down with our economy, but there doesn't seem to be a new influx of the next generation, the youth coming into the real estate side. Do you see them being invited in? What are your thoughts?
Very much so. And I think that's changing, mainly because of technology. And a couple of reasons why. Number one, consumers are generally tech savvy, and so they want to work with realtors that are tech savvy as well. And the younger people, obviously, are much more tech savvy than the older ones. The other thing that takes place, which is really important, a real barrier to getting into the business for a long period of time, was the people that had been in the business for a long time had locked up their neighborhoods, what we call farm clubs. In other words, the areas that salespeople had been working in for years.
Right.
And if you wanted leads, you just had to be in the business a long period of time or have a very big family.
Just to develop that presence.
Big family, you can get a lot of leads, right? But with technology, the ability to be able to buy leads online from Realtor.com as an example, and a lot of other ways where online, the internet, can provide a flow of business to somebody literally in the first month or two or three that they get in the business. So the barriers to entry are much fewer than they used to be, and we're seeing a lot more younger people just starting to get in. What's kept them out thus far in the last several years has been the market more than these entry barriers. I think as the market improves, we'll see more and more younger people get in a industry that can be very friendly, very profitable, and a great growth opportunity.
Makes sense. You're listening to Joe Hanauer on Nelson Radio. Joe, stay with us. This segment brought to you by Best Chauffeured. You can reach us at any time during the show. Give us a call direct, 888-888-2136. We'll be right back with Joe Hanauer, the chairman of Move Inc. and the operator of Realtor.com. We'll be right back.
The Nelson Show is brought to you by Best Chauffeured. Best Chauffeured offers personal chauffeur services for corporate events, large and small, and all types of people, not just celebrities. So next time you just want to relax and enjoy the ride, please call on Best Chauffeured Worldwide. It's effortless transportation and first-class service every time. Call 866-323-BEST. That's 866-323-BEST or online at bestchauffeured.com. Mention KTLK's Nelson Show and receive a special discount. 866-323-BEST or online at bestchauffeured.com.
Insurance Incorporated are the residential and apartment insurance experts. Unlike agencies that represent one carrier and can only provide one quote, Insurance Incorporated has appointments with the nation's leading insurance carriers, giving you the power of choice. This means more options and savings for you, offering coverage that's both comprehensive and affordable. Their policies for apartments include protection against loss or rents, accusation of wrongful eviction and wrongful entry, vandalism, theft, and slip and fall claims. Show your value as a property manager by being proactive saving saving your clients money and protecting their assets. They can even assist your tenants with renter's insurance. And homeowners, they can save you up to 40% on premiums, including often overlooked liability coverage. Insurance Incorporated are the residential and apartment insurance experts. Call 877-428-8778. That's 877-428-8778 and enjoy better coverage at lower cost. That's Insurance Incorporated, 877-428-8778 or log on to insuranceinc.com. DOI license 023531. Everyone loves a good mystery, but that's hardly the case when you're in a real estate transaction. With Title365.com, the mystery behind title insurance and escrow services has been kicked to the curb. You gain instant access to status and downloadable documents. Want customized real-time order information and documents as they happen 24/7, 365? No problem. And for the first time, Title365 is bringing together leading professionals working on your real estate transaction, so the process is even more transparent and efficient thanks to up-to-the-minute communication. You can even retrieve contact information for leading professionals offering real estate and home-related services right in your own community and learn more about title insurance all in one convenient place. Be sure to ask your local realtor, lender, or escrow officer about Title365 or visit Title365.com. Mystery solved.
This is Nelson from Nelson Real Estate Radio, and I want to have a very serious conversation with you. Let me paint the word picture. The drinks were innocent enough, just relaxing with friends. Really, I felt fine. Being drunk wasn't even a consideration. Then the rearview mirror lights up with the blue and red, the arrest, cuffed, and in jail. Really? Me? All too frequent, we wish in the somehow, someway category for a do-over, a mulligan to make a different decision. Let me introduce you to Orange County's office of Michael L. Fell, the law office of Michael L. Fell, nearly 2 decades serving in the Orange County District Attorney's Office as a prosecutor, now fighting for your rights in criminal defense. Recognized as one of Orange County's top 5 criminal defense attorneys, ready to represent you against his former colleagues. Save the embarrassment, the potential conviction, the record, the possible loss of job. Call Mike Fell direct for your legal mulligan, a chance to make it right. 949-278-5559. That's 949-278-5559 for the law office of Michael L. Fell. 949-278-5559, or you can text the letters OCDUI to 313131. Welcome back to Nelson Radio. I'm with my producer, Phil Giangron. This segment brought to you by Best Chauffeured, worldwide limousine services. If you need a limo, text the word limo to 313131, and I want you to give us a call as well. You can reach us direct, 888-888-2136. If you call, guess what? I'll answer the phone, 888-888-2136, or connect with us at nelsonradio.com. Joe, thanks for staying with us. I wanted to share this statement with you. It's an old English proverb. It says, a smooth day never made a skilled mariner. And I wanted to ask that in the context of over your career in the corporations that you've led, you've had to navigate some, I'm certain, pretty mighty challenges. Can you share a couple of rough spots that you went through and how you got through them?
Well, I guess one thing, real estate being a cyclical industry,
right?
There are always rough spots because of the cycles going up and down. There's excesses when the market's bad. There's excesses of listings with not enough buyers. When the market's good, there's excess of buyers without enough listings. So on the one hand, it's constantly navigating through these changing markets. But I guess, specifically in my case, probably 2 of the more challenging were one when Grubb & Ellis was having its financial issues back in the 90s, and we did the restructuring of Grubb & Ellis, and I ended up as chairman, but having to step in as interim CEO for 2 or 3 years, and that meant giving up a number of the other things I was doing and doing those at night while, I dealt with the company during the day.
Right.
And then also with, during the internet bubble, some issues that dealt with the predecessor of Move Inc., where I also, at that time stepped in. In fact, at that time moved into the chairman role that I still have today. So those are different issues along the way, but.
Well, it always seems, in our industry, now I don't have quite the same experience, but I'm coming up on 3 decades of history in the industry, and I've always experienced the same. High peaks, low valleys, and not too much time in between. It can be lights out on fire like it is today. When we canvass the Southland and talk to the various agents, they're all not complaining, but certainly stretched by the fact that there's just incredible pace and incredible activity, and in many cases just they're flat out having trouble keeping up with it. And then it'll go quiet like we saw with the .com bubble that burst, and all of a sudden you're checking to see if the phone still works, right?
Right, exactly.
So let me ask you this. I always frame this out in the perspective of 3. Talk to me about some things that the real estate and lending community, for that matter, should look to start doing. They should look to change.
I think probably the largest or the greatest kind of change deals with focusing on the lasting relationships that should take place in the lending industry and in the brokerage business, and that is that there's these huge opportunities to help solve people's problems, help solve their needs.
Right.
And too often, both lenders and realtors are just looking toward the transaction. In other words, complete the transaction, get a commission, and go on to the next deal. But at the end of the day, this obviously it's always overstated, but it's the most important decision people make, and it's really a problem-solving approach to the business. In other words, people can either buy what there is, or they can stay where they are. And the professional is one that helps them navigate through those decisions and make the best decision about which one should take place. And if it means that they're better off staying where they are and remodeling, then that's what they should be counseled to do.
You're listening to Nelson Radio, brought to you by Best Chauffeured, worry-free and on-time limousine transportation services. Our phone numbers to connect us, and you're listening to Joe Hanauer, the chairman of Move Inc., the operator of Realtor.com, and one of the leading residential real estate icons in our industry. 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. Joe, you were talking about that customer care component, and there's so many, especially in a busy market like this, where that gets pushed to the sidelines and it does become just the next deal. And the professionals that I've seen really do pay attention to customer care. They treat their customers as life customers. You're saying that's a key to success in our industry.
Yeah, absolutely. The people that really prosper in this business are the people that use that approach. They don't worry about the sale. The sale is a side product. The commission is a side product of customer satisfaction, literally. Sounds idealistic, but it's a fact. That commission check just reflects that there's been a job that's been well done.
We were with a couple of our agent partners earlier in the program in our Street Noise segment, and they were talking about the growing problem of pocket listings. Properties that are being posted or not posted for sale, just dealing directly with the seller and the deals consummating without ever going to the MLS. Do you see that as a problem?
Oh, it's a huge problem, and it just really picks up from what I said earlier about customer satisfaction. I mean, how can you really be servicing a seller if you don't expose a listing to the market, if you just keep it to yourself because you hope you sell it? Now, most salespeople don't sell their own listing to begin with. In fact, it's 1 out of 10, most 2 out of 10 sales for a salesperson is when he sells his own listing. So the likelihood that it's going to sell faster and for more money will take place if it's exposed to the market. And keeping it for yourself is just, sort of an inside-out approach.
And bottom line, it hurts the consumer.
Absolutely.
So let's shift gears here. I want to look towards the future with you. You have the Realtor.com site. Tell us a little bit about that organization.
Well, the Realtor.com is a remarkable experience for people thinking of selling or people just wanting to know what's going on in the market in terms of what's selling and what houses is selling for. So, Realtor.com has every property that's for sale in the United States through agents. It is updated every 15 minutes in most markets. It's got accurate data because it comes directly from the multiple listing services. And It provides decision support. By that I mean information about schools and information about communities and things of that type. It provides information about recent sales and what those houses sold for. It's a great experience, and of course, it's free. It doesn't cost the consumer anything.
That's the best kind of price tag. Do you think that technology, this has obviously been one of the innovations that have come to market. There's a perception that it can make experts out of novices, or at least those people that are relying on these technology resources, that they have the information but still need that leadership from the agent community. Is there a balance there, or is there now access to too much information?
Sure. No. There's a excellent balance, and the marketplace points that out. Basically, with technology that's been evolving, and on sites like Realtor.com, where people can see every single thing for sale, it ends up that the number of buy owners has actually decreased over the last several years. So what happens is that consumers are probably spending less time with their realtor. They're going to their realtor a little later in the house buying process because they are more informed. There's no question about it. And by the time they go see their realtor, they've been navigating the web, for weeks and weeks and weeks, and yet they still recognize that negotiating for yourself is a fool's errand, that the realtor can supplement the information that's online. It's, in the case of Realtor.com, one of the things that's terrific about the site is that we have all the information in terms of the information online, but also we connect people with the experts that can go ahead and help them make that that decision, a sound decision.
Incredible resource. I want to thank you, Joe, for being with us. That's Joe Hanauer, chairman of Move Inc. The operator of Realtor.com has every listing across the country posted there, access to resource, and updated every 15 minutes. Thanks for being with us. This segment brought to you by Best Chauffeured, worry-free and on-time transportation services. Give us a shout. 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. And we're roaring back with Coach's Corner and Coach Jim Herrick leading the way. We'll be right back.
Licensed lender under the California Department of Corporations. NMLS 331060.
This is Nelson from Nelson Radio, and it's important that we talk about a very serious issue. We had bad lending practices that led to the mortgage meltdown, but now we've got the challenge of deplorable customer service coming out of the meltdown. Bottom line, getting a new loan can be like pulling teeth without Novocaine. I've got the solution. Academy Mortgage and my team are injecting into the industry real performance and real accountability. Here are the facts. Appraisals in less than a week. Rate guarantees that can improve if the market goes down. Purchase transactions with our market-exclusive close-on-time guarantees and refinance transactions in as little as 30 days. Who would have thunk? Guaranteed rates and guaranteed performance from your mortgage lender. Call me, Nelson, an accountable loan expert for nearly 3 decades, direct at 888-888-2136. That's Nelson at 888-888-2136, 888-888-2136, or at strongcreditrewards.com.